My name is Ilana, and my race is white. This is just a quick look at my process in understanding that there is an awareness that is greater than mine, and deconstructing my privilege and understanding that it has been a vehicle to maintain the status quo. So until I can change my behavior, I can't really expect the world around me to change. I must be willing to look inward. I commit to listen to others, not interrogate them, challenge myself, and be humble. Easier said than done, but I will try. I can shop without being followed. I am never asked to speak for all people of my racial group. I can choose to ignore developments or disparities or programs related to people of color and still feel protected from the consequences of those choices. I can be late to a meeting or late to class or a doctor's appointment without the lateness being a reflection of my race. I can decide whether or not something is racist without being accused of having an agenda and receiving more credibility than people of color. My family has relied on people of color. Me, my mom and dad, both white, with Maria, Latina houseworker. Bubby and Papa on my dad's side, Marisol and daughter, were Latino houseworkers for them. Moving to my mom's side, we have Alice and a series of other African-American houseworkers, and then a generation up, you have low-paid African-American workers. In the South, they were sharecroppers, and in the North, workers that helped operate and manage the family department store. And then one more generation up on my grandmother's side, we owned African-American slaves that then became sharecroppers when the slaves were freed. By looking at racism in terms of power and oppression, I've realized that you cannot be racist against white people. If white people wanted it to end, it would end. Because historically, socially, and politically, it has been white people committing racism. Here are a few examples. But it's not just in history, these things are happening right now. But I can't just dismiss racism to the institutions. It's time I bite the bullet and confess the ways I have participated in order to ultimately change my behavior. To attempt to make amends, I am not seeking validation with an apology, but rather using my privilege to take direct action against racism. This video does not give this process justice. Tackling racism can't be achieved with a 5-minute video, but is rather a lifelong process that is never over. Until I have my own kids with whom I can use this language with, I can do things like donate books of people of color to schools, libraries, and friends with kids. I've got a long way to go, but I encourage other white folks to work these steps and support one another to ultimately undo racialized systems of oppression.